10 minutes ago. Rowoon and Park Eun-bin drop a shocking post-marriage secret that no one saw coming. What could possibly shake fans to their core and leave the entire industry in disbelief? The answer lies in a jaw-dropping confession made just moments ago. Tuned as red carpet revealed takes you inside the shocking truth everyone is desperate to uncover, right here, right now. 10 minutes ago. Rowoon and Park Eun-bin drop a shocking post-marriage secret that no one saw coming. What could possibly happen in just 10 minutes to send shockwaves through the entire entertainment industry? The clock struck and suddenly the world of Korean drama, global fandom, and the glittering stage of celebrity love stories was turned upside down. Rowoon and Park Eun-bin, the golden couple whose marriage was celebrated as the pinnacle of modern romance, have just confessed to something so unexpected that even the most imaginative fanfiction writers could never have predicted it. This is not merely a revelation, it is a thunderclap that echoes across continents. A confession that has made headlines in seconds. One that is already reshaping how fans perceive the stars they once thought they knew so well. From the moment Rowoon and Park Eun-bin first stood together in front of the cameras, their chemistry was undeniable. Audiences fell in love with the way their glances lingered, the quiet comfort they seemed to share, and the story that bloomed between them on screen before it ever reached reality. When they tied the knot, it wasn't just a wedding, it was a global event. Fans stayed up through the night to catch glimpses of the ceremony streamed live. Hashtags trended in dozens of countries. Countless editorials labeled them as the perfect couple who could do no wrong. To the public eye, their relationship was built on trust, love, and the kind of fairy tale glow that K-drama dreams are made of. But perfection has its shadows, and sometimes the brightest lights hide the deepest secrets. For years, Rowoon's career had climbed steadily, breaking free from his idol roots. He became a leading man with undeniable charm. His roles painted him as a man of integrity, kindness, and quiet strength, all of which mirrored the persona he carried off-screen. Park Eun-bin, equally, was the darling of critics and fans alike. Nuanced performances in shows like Extraordinary Attorney Woo won her global acclaim, cementing her reputation as one of Korea's finest actresses. Together, they were unstoppable, a brand as much as a couple. Adored not only for their talents but for the narrative they embodied. That is precisely why their sudden confession has blindsided the world. Only 10 minutes ago, on what was supposed to be a casual live stream event celebrating their new joint endorsement, expected unfolded. Cameras clicked, lights flashed, and smiles were exchanged. The air was buzzing with anticipation. But no one had the faintest clue of the bombshell about to be dropped. At first, the mood was lighthearted, filled with playful banter. Eun-bin, radiant in a white dress that seemed to mirror her bridal glow from months earlier, laughed warmly as Rowoon teased her about her coffee obsession. The audience was charmed, lulled into the illusion that this was yet another ordinary moment in their extraordinary life. Then, Rowoon's tone shifted. His usual calm voice carried a weight that cut through the air like a knife. He paused, glancing at Eun-bin with eyes that spoke volumes. Eyes that seemed to seek permission before venturing further. Eun-bin's smile faltered ever so slightly. And in that instant, the atmosphere in the room transformed. Fans watching the stream at home leaned closer to their screens, sensing that something monumental was about to happen. Even the hosts, who had been prepared with their list of lighthearted questions. In anticipation, Rowoon spoke first, carefully, his words trembling at the edges. "There's something we need to share, something we can't keep hidden anymore." His statement hung heavy in the air, an unfinished sentence that carried the weight of 1,000 possibilities. Gasps echoed across the live chat feed, emojis of shock flooding the screen faster than anyone could count. Park Eun-bin placed her hand gently on his, studying him, and together they unveiled a secret that no one saw coming. Fashion itself is still sending ripples through every corner of the entertainment industry. The details they revealed were not scripted, not polished by a PR team, but raw, human, and startlingly real. They spoke of struggles behind closed doors, of truths they had shielded even from their most loyal fans, and of a choice they had made that would forever alter the trajectory of their careers and their marriage. Though the full extent of their words will unfold as this story develops, one thing became clear in that electrifying moment: the perfect love story that had inspired millions was far more complex than anyone imagined. Almost instantly, social media exploded. Within minutes, Hashtags such as Rowoon Bin Confession and Shocking Secret dominated trending lists worldwide. Fans from Seoul to Los Angeles flooded Twitter with frantic speculation. Some refused to believe what they had heard, clinging to denial as if it were the last thread connecting them to the fairy tale. Others dissected every word, every pause, every flicker of emotion on their faces, trying to decode the full meaning behind their confession. TikTok was ablaze with reaction videos, tears streaming down the faces of die-hard fans who had once dreamed of their own perfect love modeled after Rowoon and Eun Bin. And it wasn't just fans who were shaken. Reporters scrambled to rewrite headlines, canceling pre-scheduled content to cover this revelation. News anchors stammered through breaking news updates, their professional composure cracking under the sheer unpredictability of the moment. Industry insiders whispered about potential consequences, canceled projects, shaken endorsements, studios reconsidering contracts. For an industry built on carefully curated images and spotless reputations, this confession was nothing short of catastrophic. The moment even more jarring was the vulnerability of it all. There were no prepared statements, no polished press releases, no choreographed denials. Instead, Rowoon and Park Eun-bin looked directly into the camera, their voices steady yet heavy with emotion, and admitted the truth. It was the kind of raw honesty that cut through the artifice of celebrity culture and reminded the world that behind the glitz and glamour were two human beings, flawed and real. As the revelation unfolded, the reactions in the room were palpable. The host tried to regain control of the situation, but their scripted questions now felt absurdly out of place. Photographers lowered their cameras for a moment, and into silence. Even the staff members backstage, accustomed to chaos, froze, exchanging bewildered glances. It was as if time itself had paused to register the magnitude of what had just been revealed. But the story is only beginning. What exactly did they confess? What does it mean for their future together? And how will the world, so accustomed to idolizing them as untouchable icons, reconcile this new human reality? These questions are now echoing through every corner of the internet, each one carrying the same undercurrent of disbelief and urgency. The cliffhanger they left us with is almost unbearable. In their final words before stepping away from the microphone, Eun Bin said softly, her voice trembling yet resolute, "We know this will change everything. Truth deserves to be known," and with that, the couple walked off the stage, leaving the audience stunned and the world clamoring for answers. This is not just another celebrity headline. This is the unraveling of a love story we thought we knew. A revelation that challenges the very foundation of their carefully crafted image. And as much as fans and critics alike want answers now, the depth of this confession will only be revealed in the days to come. The fairy tale glow has dimmed, the flawless facade has cracked, and the perfect couple has proven to be achingly human after all. The world waits breathlessly for part 2 of this story, for the unfiltered details of a confession that has already changed everything. Because if this is what they chose to share in just a few minutes, it's maybe even more shocking than we can imagine. And so we stand on the edge of revelation, bended in the tension between what we know and what is yet to come. Stay with us, because the storm is only beginning. The clock had barely ticked past a 10-minute mark when the entire world seemed to freeze. What could possibly happen in such a short span of time to unravel an image carefully built over years? To shake a fandom that stretched across continents and ripples through an entire entertainment industry? The answer came like a thunderbolt, sharp and impossible to ignore. Rowoon and Park Eun-bin, a loved power couple of Korean entertainment, dropped a confession that no one saw coming. For years, their story was painted as the epitome of modern romance. Rowoon, an idol-turned-actor, had climbed the ranks to become one of the most sought-after leading men in Korean drama. His tall frame, warm gaze, charisma made him not only a star on screen but also a dream in the hearts of millions. Park Eun-bin, with her extraordinary acting talent and disarming elegance, had earned both critical acclaim and widespread adoration. Her roles in shows like Extraordinary Attorney Woo and The King's Affection proved her versatility, making her a household name far beyond Korea. Together, they were magnetic. Their marriage was hailed as the ultimate fairy tale, a union of talent, beauty, and seemingly unshakable devotion. Fans remembered every moment of their courtship that spilled into the public eye. The subtle smiles during joint press conferences. Rowoon would instinctively reach out to steady Eun Bin on stage, The proud glances they exchanged at award shows. To outsiders, theirs was not just love but destiny itself. Filled with vows that had captivated an entire generation. Scenes branded them the royal couple of K-drama. Endorsement deals poured in, pairing them as the perfect duo for everything from luxury fashion campaigns to global beverage brands. And yet, in the blink of an eye, 10 minutes to be exact, that entire narrative shifted. During what was expected to be a light-hearted live-streamed fan event, their tone turned solemn. The laughter faded. Rehearsed questions evaporated into irrelevance. The couple stared into the cameras with an intensity that sent chills down the spines of millions watching. "There's something we need to share," Rowoon began. Voice uncharacteristically strained. "Something we can't keep hidden anymore." The silence that followed was deafening. Eunbin's hand slipped over his, steady yet trembling. Her eyes glistened. And though she smiled faintly, it was not the smile fans were used to. This one carried weight, grief, perhaps, or relief. She nodded softly, signaling him to continue. What unfolded in the next few minutes was a confession that peeled away the glossy veneer of their public image. They admitted to struggles behind closed doors. Truths they had shielded even from those closest to them. And to a decision that would forever change the course of their relationship. The details were raw, startling, and heartbreakingly human. Confession left room for speculation. The very act of baring themselves so openly was enough to set off a firestorm. Almost immediately, the internet ignited. Hashtags such as Rowoon confession and shocking secret trended worldwide. Twitter feeds flooded with disbelief, denial, endless theories. Reaction videos surfaced within minutes, with fans sobbing, screaming, or simply staring blankly at their screens. One fan from New York tweeted, "I stayed up at 3 a.m. for this live stream. Now I can't breathe. I don't know what's real anymore." In Seoul, media outlets scrambled to assemble emergency panels of entertainment reporters and psychologists to analyze every word and gesture. Even major Western outlets like CNN and BBC Entertainment interrupted their programming with breaking news banners. The immediate fallout within the industry was equally intense. Advertisers began issuing statements of monitoring the situation. Code words hinting at possible contract re-evaluations. Film studios postponed promotional schedules for their upcoming projects. Behind the scenes, managers and PR teams scrambled. Phones buzzing non-stop. Their carefully drafted strategies already obsolete. But what stood out above the chaos was the vulnerability etched on Rowoon and Eunbin's faces. This was not a scandal being managed, it was a revelation freely chosen. They could have stayed silent, maintaining the illusion of perfection. Instead, looked into the lens, fully aware that millions of eyes were locked on them, and chose truth. That decision alone was seismic. Confession wasn't just about them, it challenged the very foundations of how celebrity culture operates. Fans often demand transparency while simultaneously punishing imperfection. Agencies construct spotless narratives to protect careers, while stars struggle beneath the weight of those expectations. In choosing to speak, Rowoon and Eunbin shattered the invisible contract of silence that has long defined the industry. As the couple walked off stage, the atmosphere was electric with shock. Eunbin's final words echoed long after the screen faded to black. "We know this will change everything. But the truth deserves to be known." That line, repeated endlessly across social media, became the phrase of the night. A slogan of both devastation and defiance. One of this unfolding drama ended not with answers but with questions that fans, critics, and the couple themselves would wrestle with in the days to come. Exactly had they revealed? What did it mean for their careers, their marriage, their carefully curated image? And perhaps most hauntingly, what more remains hidden? If the first 10 minutes could dismantle years of perfection, what could the next chapter possibly hold? The confession that stunned the world was not an isolated moment, it was the opening of a floodgate. In the hours that followed, waves of reaction surged across every platform, every outlet, and every community that had once held Rowoon and Park Eun-bin aloft as symbols of romance. The impact was immediate and relentless. Entertainment agencies convened emergency meetings, desperate to assess the damage. Was this revelation a career-ending scandal? Or could it be reframed as a moment of courageous honesty? Brands who had invested millions in their image debated whether to cut ties or lean into the authenticity of their story. Industry insiders whispered about the unprecedented nature of the event, Never before had such high-profile stars voluntarily dismantled their own perfect narrative in front of a live global audience. The couple's fans were deeply divided. Some rushed to defend them, flooding comment sections with words of support. "They're human, let them breathe," wrote one fan from Jakarta. "This makes me love them even more because they're real," posted another from London. Others, however, reacted with anger and betrayal. "We believed in them, and now everything feels like a lie," one devastated fan lamented. Petitions began circulating, demanding explanations, apologies, even the cancellation of ongoing projects. The divide fractured once united fandoms into warring factions. Media frenzy only intensified. Talk shows dissected their body language. Lip readers claimed to have decoded whispered words, and tabloid headlines screamed out wild speculations. Was the marriage already on the rocks? Was this a prelude to divorce? Or was it a revelation about something entirely different, perhaps a hidden relationship, a secret project, or a family matter too sensitive to have been shared before? The ambiguity of their confession allowed for infinite interpretations, each more sensational than the last. Multiple outlets joined the chorus. The New York Times framed it as a cultural turning point, questioning whether the K-entertainment industry could survive the age of radical transparency. Japanese newspapers highlighted the shock among their devoted fan base, while European magazines focused on the larger implications for celebrity culture worldwide. In Los Angeles, Hollywood insiders drew parallels to their own stars' struggles with the suffocating weight of perfection. Meanwhile, Rowoon and Eunbin retreated from public view. It surfaced that they had flown to Jeju Island, seeking solace away from the cameras. Paparazzi attempted to track their every move, but glimpses were fleeting and inconclusive. Their silence only fueled the speculation, creating an information vacuum that the press and fans eagerly filled with their own narratives. Behind the scenes, sources close to the couple painted a picture of exhaustion. Years of pressure had culminated in this breaking point. Their confession had shocked the world. For them it was a release, a chance to reclaim their story from the machinery of celebrity. Fans described them as relieved yet anxious, aware of the storm they had unleashed but unwilling to retreat back into silence. The broader industry, however, trembled. Rowoon and Eunbin could step outside the script. What might other stars do? Would this spark a wave of revelations? A dismantling of the carefully controlled personas that defined K-entertainment? Or would agencies clamp down even harder, reinforcing the walls of secrecy? Analysts debated these questions endlessly, some predicting the dawn of a new era of transparency, others warning of a backlash that would punish honesty more harshly than deception. As days turned into weeks, the story showed no signs of fading. Documentaries were pitched, books proposed, as think pieces churned out across the globe. For many, the confession was no longer just about Rowoon and Eunbin, it was about what it represented, the collision of love, fame, and truth in an age where every secret is one live stream away from exposure. And through it all, one question lingered: what happens next? Will Rowoon and Eunbin emerge stronger, defining themselves beyond the fairy tale? Or will the weight of their revelation crush the very bond they sought to protect? The world continues to watch, breathless, waiting for the next 10 minutes that could once again change everything. Because if one confession could unravel a perfect love story, imagine what another might do. As the dust begins to settle, one thing is clear: the shocking confession of Rowoon and Park Eun-bin will be remembered, not only as a pivotal moment in their personal journey, but as a turning point for the entire entertainment industry. What was once hailed as the perfect love story has now revealed its human complexity, reminding us that even the brightest stars carry shadows behind their glow. Their courage to speak out, to risk everything for honesty, has sparked conversations that go far beyond their marriage. It has challenged fans, media, and industry insiders to reconsider how much we expect from those we idolize. The story is not finished. This confession marks the end of their fairy tale chapter or the beginning of an even more profound narrative. The world will continue to watch, debate, feel every twist along the way. Because sometimes, in just 10 minutes, everything changes, and nothing is ever the same again. Send our deepest gratitude to our readers who have followed this story with unwavering attention and passion. Your voices, reactions, support are what keep us uncovering the truths behind the spotlight. On behalf of Red Carpet Revealed, thank you for joining us on this emotional and unforgettable journey. Stay tuned. Because the story of Rowoon and Park Eun-bin is far from over, and together, we will continue to explore the dazzling highs and shocking revelations of the world beneath the red carpet.